Hello, everybody. Um, this is my presentation on the new drug policies explored. For some background information, a lot of substance and narcotic prohibition started back in the 30s with Henry Arnslinger and the first Bureau of Narcotics. He started illegalizing many substances, one of which was cannabis, a previously thought safe drug. It had been that and hemp had been used in textiles, rope, cars, even biofuel, and as cannabis is a alternative to alcohol, and like alcohol, it was illegalized. That even goes further back, not further back, but ahead of time. Nixon and his cabinet had used heroin and marijuana to bully and subjugate their political enemies, such as African American clubs, such as the Black Panthers and the hippie movement. He used these things to bully them and vilify them. And they also, according to his cabinet members, they knew they were lying about drugs, but that didn't stop them from using a lot of racist and scientifically unfounded claims, as well as a lot of propaganda, such as the movie Reefer Madness, to propagate the idea that cannabis and other drugs caused violent behavioral tendencies and quote unquote thirsted for white blood. Completely racist. Now, while today's laws have weakened drug policies, such as medical and recreational legal cannabis, in the city of Portland, Oregon, you also have legalized psilocybin mushrooms. And in other states, in select cities, you have ketamine clinics, ketamine for medical usage on the human instead of for cats or for animals. But while they're more lax today than they have been for almost a century, they still are. There is still a war on drugs, and it is creating profoundly racist and loss of money opportunity. In problems today, we see a lot of what you could call in economics opportunity loss of money for potential trade and state revenue, as much as creating a systemic racist policies that keep a lot of black families in poverty or incarcerated. Um, Ignoring the fact that in the U.S. right now we have a record high rate of addiction and the most strict laws um, on narcotics, and paired with high incarceration rates, and the fact that there are many medical reasons why we are not getting drugs that could be or have been proven to be medicinally beneficial. And all these problems are still present and around today because the war on drugs is still going on. And there are a lot of advantages of drug policy reform, such as new policies to treat addiction more like a mental disease um, rather than a symptom of living. There are The idea is to make addiction sort of a mental issue and treat addiction more of a symptom of a more inline issue in the person, and to treat that issue that has caused more recovery rates in states and countries that have implemented ideas like that. Better medicinal treatments, such as instead to get people off of opiates, you have better pain relievers such as cannabis and ketamine. Also, instead of getting people addicted to pills and other kinds of drugs, you have ketamine, which is profoundly groundbreaking through the medical field, such as having high recovery rates from, and not while curing, helping the symptoms of bipolar, depression, anxiety in the patients. There's also the idea of more revenue from state and local trades, as well as exporting goods and services to other countries who would more than likely follow suit, just as they did whenever we illegalized these substances. These sales from in local and state governments can make budgets for more public services broader, as well as create jobs in the manufacturing and textile industries, as well as the production of these narcotics. There are some examples of this working successfully, such as Portugal, which is a first world country that has legalized, or at the very least decriminalized, all drugs, such as cannabis, heroin, cocaine, LSD. And they, as mentioned before, treat addiction as a mental disorder and treat the underlying issues instead of the symptoms. They don't treat drug use with punishment, they treat it with treatment, which is shown to be a much more successful way of treating addiction. There are legal states in the U.S. There's also Canada and Mexico who have legalized the recreational and, in some states, only medicinal use of cannabis. These sales alone have resulted in billions and billions of dollars in revenue, even in the states. These revenues create better usage for public services such as transportation, roads, medical care, and the like, to help in the governments. Portland has also legalized psilocybin mushrooms for the treatment of depression and other similar brain problems. In other states such as New York, Connecticut, and Montana, you have clinics that have the legal right to administer certain doses of ketamine in certain intervals to help in depression, bipolar, and other mental illnesses, and reduce the symptoms, if not rewire the brain entirely to make sure that it has a proper balance of chemicals in the brain. There are some problems, of course, with a big change in laws and policies. People have reservations and ideas that it will not work out, and because it is such a big